The Last Guardian. The night sky over Earth had changed. Where once stars twinkled peacefully, now massive alien warships hung like dark mountains, their hulls reflecting the fires burning across continents below. Humanity had fought bravely for 3 months, but the Void-born Empire's assault had been relentless. Major cities lay in ruins, billions were dead, and hope had become as rare as unspoiled water. In the dimly lit command center buried 2 miles beneath what remained of Geneva, General Way Santos watched the holographic display with hollow eyes. Red markers showing Earth's defenses winked out one by one. Next to him, a younger officer monitored communications with trembling hands. "Sir, New Auckland has fallen. The Australian resistance is gone." The officer's voice cracked. General Santos nodded slowly. "And the evacuation shuttles? Destroyed before reaching orbit. The Void-born left no survivors." Santos closed his eyes momentarily. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared him for this, watching his planet die while hiding underground. When the Void-born Armada first appeared at the edge of the solar system with their impossible technology and unimaginable numbers, Earth's nations had united instantly. But unity couldn't match superior firepower. The aliens didn't even bother communicating. They simply began systematic annihilation. "General," a voice called from across the room. Dr. Eliza Copper, head of Earth's Special Weapons Division, approached with purpose in her stride. "Phoenix is ready." Santos' expression shifted. Hope wasn't entirely dead, just hidden deeper than the command center itself. "Commander Chen," Santos asked, "waiting at the launch site." "Everything is green." The general followed Dr. Capper through a series of heavily reinforced doors, each requiring different biometric scans. Few people knew about Project Phoenix, Earth's final gambit, built in absolute secrecy using technology reverse-engineered from a crashed Void-born scout ship found decades ago. They entered an enormous underground hangar carved into solid bedrock. Standing alone in the cavernous space was a single spacecraft unlike anything Earth had produced before. Where conventional human ships were bulky with external engines and visible weapon systems, Phoenix was sleek, almost organic in appearance. Its hull shimmered with a dark iridescent material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. No visible thrusters, no weapon ports, just smooth, elegant curves that hinted at capabilities beyond current human understanding. At the foot of the ship stood Commander Maya Chen, Earth's most decorated pilot and the only human who had survived direct combat with a Void-born vessel. Her flight suit was unlike traditional space gear. It appeared to be made of the same strange material as the ship, with circuitry patterns flowing across its surface like liquid silver veins. "Commander Chen," Santos called out, his voice echoing in the hangar. "Is this going to work?" Maya turned, her expression unreadable. At 34, she should have appeared young, but the war had aged everyone. Her eyes held the weighted knowledge of someone who had seen too much. 3 months ago, she had watched her entire squadron be obliterated in seconds while somehow managing to damage a Void-born fighter enough to escape. That encounter had changed her. "It has to work, General," she replied simply. "We've put everything into Phoenix." Dr. Capper stepped forward. "Commander, remember the neural interface will feel invasive at first. Phoenix isn't just a ship you pilot. It becomes an extension of you. The technology is still experimental, but I'm the only compatible candidate," Maya finished. "We've been through this, Doctor. I understand the risks." Santos placed a hand on Maya's shoulder. "The Void-born believe they've broken us. They don't know about Phoenix, and they certainly don't expect a counterattack. Your mission is to reach their command vessel and deploy the quantum disruptor. If their hierarchy works as we believe, taking out their leadership should throw their forces into disarray." Maya nodded. "And if I succeed, the resistance cells have a chance to regroup." "Exactly. You're not trying to win the war single-handedly, Commander. You're creating an opportunity for humanity to fight back." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. A voice crackled over the intercom. Voidborne detection systems have locked onto the facility. Multiple borers approaching. Estimated breach time, 15 minutes. Santos's face hardened. We're out of time. Get aboard, Commander. Maya turned toward Phoenix, then paused. If I don't make it back. You will, Santos interrupted. Because if you don't, there won't be an Earth to come back to. The commander nodded once, then sprinted toward the ship. As she approached, a section of the hull seemed to melt away, creating an entrance. Once inside, the opening sealed seamlessly behind her. The interior of Phoenix was minimalist, a single chair surrounded by curved panels that appeared to be made of the same material as the hull. No traditional controls, no buttons or switches. Maya settled into the chair, and immediately filaments from the seat extended outward, connecting to the matching circuits on her flight suit. A jolt of pain shot through her body as the neural interface activated. Her vision blurred, then expanded. Suddenly, she could feel the ship, not as a vehicle but as an extension of her own body. She could sense the density of the air in the hangar, detect the heartbeats of every person in the launch facility, and somehow perceive the Voidborne ships in orbit above them. Neural integration complete, Maya whispered, though no one could hear her. Phoenix is online. Outside, Dr. Capper and General Santos retreated to the control room. Capper activated the launch sequence, causing massive hydraulic systems to shift the rock ceiling above the hangar, revealing a narrow vertical tunnel that led to the surface. Launching in 5, 4, Capper counted down. The facility shook violently as the first Voidborne borers began drilling through the outer defenses. 3, 2, 1. Phoenix didn't launch with fire and thunder like conventional rockets. Instead, it simply rose. No visible propulsion, no sound. Just smooth, impossible movement, as if gravity itself had been locally rewritten. The ship accelerated rapidly up the tunnel. On the surface, night had fallen over the ruins of Geneva. Phoenix emerged like a ghost, instantly accelerating to speeds that would have crushed any human in a conventional craft. But Maya wasn't piloting conventionally. She was Phoenix, and Phoenix was her. In orbit, the massive Voidborne fleet continued its bombardment of Earth's few remaining cities. Their ships were biological and mechanical hybrids, living metal formed into shapes that defied human engineering principles. The smallest was the size of an aircraft carrier, the largest dwarfed small moons. Aboard the Voidborne command vessel, Supreme Overlord Zithak observed the destruction with cold satisfaction. The humans had proven more resilient than expected, but the outcome was never in doubt. Soon this planet would join the hundreds of others that had fallen to the Empire's expansion. An alert sounded on the command bridge. A subordinate approached, confusion evident in its multifaceted eyes. Overlord, we've detected an anomalous energy signature rising from the planet's surface. Zithak turned slowly. Human technology. Unknown, Overlord. It bears similarities to our own propulsion systems, but different. More primitive, yet somehow refined. Show me. A holographic display materialized, showing a small craft rising through the atmosphere at impossible speed. A single ship. Zithak's mouthparts clicked in amusement. Their last desperate attempt. Dispatched the Hunter Squadron. 6 Voidborne interceptors broke formation, diving toward the approaching human vessel. They were the Empire's elite fighters, each having participated in dozens of planetary conquests. Their pilots communicated without words, coordinating a perfect attack formation. Maya sensed them coming before Phoenix's sensors could detect them. The neural interface translated threat assessments directly into her consciousness. 6 ships, heavily armed, approaching at attack velocity. Let's see what you can do, she whispered to Phoenix. The Voidborne interceptors fired simultaneously, streams of plasma that should have vaporized any human craft instantly. But Phoenix moved with impossible precision, weaving between the deadly beams as if they were standing still. Maya didn't need to think about evasive maneuvers. Her instincts translated directly into the ship's movements. The alien pilots had never encountered anything like Phoenix. Their shots missed completely as the human ship danced between them, leaving confusion in its wake. Maya felt a surge of something like pleasure from the ship itself, as if Phoenix enjoyed demonstrating its capabilities. "My turn," Maya thought, and Phoenix responded. The ship didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, as Phoenix passed through the formation of void-borne interceptors, pulses of energy radiated outward, not damaging the alien ships but rather disrupting the neural connections between the void-borne pilots and their living vessels. Two interceptors immediately spun out of control, their pilots screaming as their mental link was severed. On the command vessel, Zithak watched in disbelief as the tiny human ship disabled two elite fighters without firing a single conventional weapon. "What is this?" the Overlord demanded. "The human vessel appears to be using a modified version of our own neural disruption technology," an officer reported, voice tinged with disbelief. "But that's impossible. Humans shouldn't have access to such technology." Zithak's inner eyelids narrowed. "Target that ship with the main cannon. Now." The enormous command vessel rotated slowly, bringing its primary weapon to bear, a gravitational lens capable of compressing space-time itself into a destructive beam. It had shattered moons and cracked planetary crusts. No human technology could withstand it. Maya felt the massive energy buildup before any alarms triggered. Phoenix's awareness extended far beyond conventional sensors, sensing distortions in space-time itself. The command ship was preparing something devastating. "We need to move," she thought, and Phoenix responded instantly. The main cannon fired, a beam of compressed space-time that distorted light around it as it tore through the void. It should have obliterated Phoenix completely. Instead, at the moment of impact, something extraordinary happened. Phoenix didn't dodge the beam. Instead, as the energy struck, the ship's unique hull seemed to absorb the attack, the iridescent material glowing brighter and brighter until it was painful to look at. Then, impossibly, Phoenix redirected the energy, not back at the Voidborn, but in a controlled dispersion that rippled through nearby space. Aboard the command vessel, alarms blared as sensors overloaded. "Impossible," Zithak raged. "No technology can redirect the gravitational lens." Maya felt Phoenix change after absorbing the attack. The ship's systems pulsed with new energy, and knowledge flooded through the neural interface. Schematics, coordinates, weaknesses in Voidborn design that had never been detected before. "Thank you for the energy boost," Maya transmitted on all frequencies, knowing the psychological impact would be significant. "And for the data." Phoenix accelerated suddenly, moving faster than any tracking system could follow, heading directly toward the massive Voidborn command vessel. Maya had a new destination, not just the command ship's bridge, but something deeper within the alien vessel that Phoenix had somehow detected. This was no longer simply about creating a distraction for Earth's resistance. This was about discovering why the Voidborn had come to Earth in the first place, because Phoenix had just revealed that the aliens hadn't chosen Earth at random. They had come looking for something specific, something they feared. And Maya was about to find out what that was. The awakening. Phoenix streaked through space like a silver needle threading between the massive Voidborn warships. Inside, Maya Chen had ceased to think of herself as separate from the vessel. They had become a single entity. Her consciousness expanded beyond human limitations through the neural interface. She perceived space differently now, seeing energy flows and gravitational eddies that normal human senses couldn't detect. The Voidborn fleet erupted into chaos as Phoenix approached their command vessel. Hundreds of interceptors scrambled to form defensive barriers, while larger battleships positioned themselves to create overlapping fields of fire. Their coordination was perfect, too perfect for individual pilots acting independently. "They're using a hive mind," Maya realized, the thought flowing through Phoenix's systems. The ship's analysis confirmed her suspicion, highlighting communication patterns that resembled neural networks rather than conventional signals. The massive command ship loomed ahead, a structure more resembling a Gothic cathedral than a spacecraft, with organic spires and sweeping buttresses formed from living metal. At its center pulsed a sphere of swirling energy, visible even through the thick hull material. That's our target, Maya thought. Whatever that energy core is, it's controlling the fleet. As Phoenix accelerated toward the command vessel, the space around them lit up with weapons fire, plasma beams, gravitational distortions, and projectiles moving at relativistic speeds converged on their position. Dodging was no longer possible. There were simply too many attacks coming from too many directions. Instead, Phoenix activated its most unusual defense. The ship's hull began to phase, shifting partially out of conventional spacetime. Attacks passed through them, as if through a ghost, causing momentary disruptions, but no substantial damage. Each impact, however, drained Phoenix's power reserves. We need to end this quickly, Maya thought, feeling the ship's energy levels dropping. On the command bridge of the Voidborn vessel, Supreme Overlord Zithak watched with growing rage as the human ship approached, somehow surviving the combined firepower of half the Imperial fleet. Impossible, Zithak hissed. No species we've encountered has phasing technology. A subordinate approached cautiously. Overlord, the ancestral archives indicate that such technology was theorized by the progenitors, but never successfully implemented. Zithak's inner eyelids snapped open in shock. The progenitors. That human ship is using progenitor technology. The energy signature matches partial records. Overlord. Zithak rose from the command throne. For the first time in countless conquests, the Supreme Overlord felt something alien to the Voidborn consciousness. Fear. Lock down the Nexus chamber. Deploy the Void Guards. Nothing must reach the heart. Phoenix approached the command vessel's outer hull, which bristled with defensive turrets and energy barriers. Conventional tactics would fail here. A direct assault would be suicide, even with Phoenix's advanced technology. We need another way in, Maya thought. The ship's response came as a flood of information through the neural interface. Schematics of the Voidborn vessel revealed a network of maintenance channels used by smaller service organisms. These channels led deep into the ship's interior, eventually connecting to the central chamber where the energy core, the heart, was housed. Phoenix altered its configuration, becoming more fluid, more compact. The ship that had launched from Earth was gone, replaced by something that resembled a metallic serpent, sleek and sinuous. Maya felt her physical body change too, not painfully, but strangely, as if her very atoms were being rearranged to accommodate Phoenix's transformation. They slipped through a maintenance port, evading the main defenses entirely. Inside the Voidborn vessel, everything was alive. What appeared to be corridors were actually arteries. What seemed like chambers were organs in a gigantic living entity. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was a creature, ancient and vast. Maya guided Phoenix deeper, following the pulsing energy signature that grew stronger with each passing moment. Through the neural interface, she began receiving fragments of information, not from Phoenix's systems, but from the Voidborn ship itself. The living vessel's bioelectric field contained data, memories, history. They're not the original conquerors, Maya realized with shock. The Voidborn are servants, created to find something their masters lost millennia ago. As they approached the central chamber, resistance intensified. Specialized defender organisms, similar to antibodies in a human immune system, attacked Phoenix, trying to neutralize the intruder. Phoenix dispatched them with precise energy pulses, careful not to damage the vital systems of the living ship. Finally, they reached the heavily guarded entrance to the Nexus chamber. Dozens of Void Guards stood in formation, elite warriors physically connected to the ship itself, drawing power directly from its systems. Each stood 3 meters tall, their bodies covered in living armor that pulsed with the same energy as the heart. We can't fight through that, Maya thought. But Phoenix had another plan. Instead of attacking, Phoenix interfaced directly with the chamber's organic security systems. It wasn't hacking. It was communication, one living technology to another. To Maya's surprise, the security system responded, recognizing patterns in Phoenix's code that matched something in its ancient memory. The massive doors to the Nexus chamber began to open. Inside the chamber, Supreme Overlord Zithak stood before the heart, a swirling sphere of energy suspended in a gravitational cradle. Unlike the warrior caste of the Voidborn, Zithak's form was almost fragile, with an enlarged cranium housing the neural networks needed to command the hive mind. "So, you've come," Zithak said as Phoenix entered the chamber, still in its serpentine form. "The humans have surprised us. We believed all knowledge of the progenitors had been lost on your world." Phoenix transformed again, this time taking a roughly humanoid shape with Maya's consciousness projected as a holographic figure. She stood facing the alien overlord, 2 meters of glowing energy in human form. "What are the progenitors?" Maya asked, her voice both her own and something older, deeper. Phoenix speaking through her. "Why have you destroyed our world?" Zithak moved around the heart, keeping the energy sphere between them. "You truly don't know. How ironic. We've spent millennia searching for the inheritors of progenitor technology, only to find them ignorant of their own heritage." The alien gestured toward the heart. "This is but a fragment of progenitor power, a pale imitation of what once existed. The Voidborn were created to find the source, the original heart that vanished when the progenitors ascended." "What does this have to do with Earth?" Maya demanded. "Everything," Zithak hissed. "Your planet's location corresponds to the final known coordinates of the progenitor homeworld. The energy signatures we detected from your planet matched our records. We believe you were hiding the heart from us." Understanding flooded through Maya. "The crashed ship, the one we reverse-engineered to build Phoenix. That's how we got the technology. A convenient accident." Zithak laughed bitterly. "There are no accidents with progenitor technology. It called to you, guided you. Phoenix isn't just a ship you built. It's a key awakening after eons of dormancy." As if responding to these words, Phoenix began to change again. The neural interface deepened, connecting Maya not just to the ship, but to something buried in Earth's core, something that had remained hidden for millions of years. Through this new connection, Maya saw the truth. The progenitors hadn't disappeared. They had evolved, seeding their consciousness throughout the galaxy. Earth wasn't their homeworld. It was their vault, a place to store their greatest creation until the right inheritors came along. "You didn't find what you were looking for because you were looking in the wrong place," Maya said, understanding flooding through her. "The heart isn't on Earth's surface. It's Earth itself." At this revelation, Phoenix pulsed with new energy. The heart in the chamber responded, its swirling patterns synchronizing with Phoenix's energy signature. The connection between them strengthened, and Maya felt power beyond imagination flowing through the neural interface. Zithak stepped back in alarm. "What are you doing?" "Stop. I'm not doing anything," Maya replied calmly. "Phoenix is reclaiming what was taken." The energy from the heart began to flow toward Phoenix, drawn irresistibly like water finding its natural level. As it transferred, the Voidborn command systems began to fail. Throughout the fleet, ships lost power as the controlling influence of the heart faded. "You'll destroy everything," Zithak cried. "The Voidborn cannot exist without the heart." Maya looked at the alien overlord with genuine compassion. "Your creators made you dependent by design. They feared you might surpass them. But that was never the progenitor's way. Life should evolve, not be constrained." Phoenix absorbed the last of the heart's energy, then extended tendrils of pure energy that enveloped Zithak. The alien leader struggled briefly, then went still as information transferred between them. "I'm offering you choice," Maya explained. "Phoenix can rewrite your biological programming. Your people can be free to evolve naturally, without the drive to conquer and destroy." Zithak trembled as ancient compulsions battled with new possibilities. "And if we refuse? Then leave Earth and never return. But know that what you sought is now awake, and it will defend itself." Throughout the Voidborn fleet, Confusion reigned as the controlling influence vanished. Ships drifted, weapons powered down, and for the first time in their existence, individual Voidborn began to think independently. Maya and Phoenix departed the command vessel, returning to space now filled with dormant alien ships. The neural interface showed her Earth below, still damaged, still burning, but alive with new potential. Phoenix had connected with the planet's core, awakening ancient systems that had lain dormant since the progenitors departed. Healing energy began to spread across the planet's surface. Radiation dispersed, toxic chemicals neutralized, and the worst physical damage began to slowly reverse. It would take time, but Earth would recover and emerge stronger, finally aware of its place in the galactic community. General Santos and Dr. Capper emerged from the underground facility to witness the Voidborn fleet retreating from Earth orbit, not in panic, but in something resembling respect. The sky, which had been filled with alien warships for months, gradually cleared until only one vessel remained. Phoenix descended to the surface, landing gracefully before the astonished humans. The ship's form had changed permanently, now resembling a crystalline structure that pulsed with inner light. "Commander Chen," Santos called uncertainly. The ship's surface rippled, and Maya stepped forward, changed but recognizable. The neural interface had transformed her permanently, her eyes now holding the same iridescent quality as Phoenix's hull. "It's still me, General," she said with a slight smile. "Mostly." "The Voidborn?" Dr. Capper asked anxiously. "No longer a threat," Maya assured them. "They've been given a choice. Evolution instead of conquest. Some will take it, others won't. But they know Earth is protected now." Santos looked up at the retreating alien fleet. "So we won. Just like that." Maya shook her head. "Not won. Evolved. Phoenix wasn't a weapon, it was a key. Earth was never just our home. It was a seed planted millions of years ago, waiting for us to grow into our inheritance." She turned to look at Phoenix, which pulsed in response to her thoughts. "This is just the beginning," Maya said. "The progenitors left gifts throughout the galaxy, technology, knowledge, possibilities, not just for humans, but for all life with the potential to grow beyond its origins." Dr. Capper stepped forward hesitantly. "What happens now?" Maya smiled fully for the first time since the invasion began. "Now we rebuild. We heal. And then, when Earth is ready..." She looked up at the stars, seeing them not as distant points of light, but as destinations, possibilities, future homes for humanity. "Then we explore," she said simply, "not as conquerors like the Voidborn, but as inheritors and caretakers. The galaxy has been waiting for us. It's time we answered the call." The sun rose over the horizon, casting golden light across the damaged but healing Earth. In that moment, humanity stood on the threshold of something new, a civilization about to take its first true steps into a larger universe. Not as victims or survivors, but as guardians of a legacy older than the stars themselves. And Phoenix, glowing in the morning light, was just the beginning.